I spent my whole damn life in the city. I could go for broke, but the capital is in me. I spent my whole damn life in the city. Anywhere I go, DC's coming with me. I spent my whole damn life in the city. I could go for broke, but the capital is in me. I spent my whole damn life in the city. Anywhere I go, DC's coming with me. I spent my whole damn life in the city. I could go for broke, but the capital is in me.
Welcome to Divided, a DC sports podcast, more specifically a Washington Commanders podcast here on Shades Monday. It's your boy KDot rolling solo dolo after the Commanders get a big upset road victory against the Atlanta Falcons. Just want to give a recap, see what it is that I thought about the game. I know I got my prediction wrong. Thankfully, that's a good thing, right? Before I get into anything, because once again, I am rolling solo. Our guy A-Train there, still on the lam. Wishing them the absolute best, stay safe out there. But, before we get into it, please remember, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. When I usually say share that shit, but I'm rolling solo, so, I'm just not on point. All right, but the Commanders, they get the big victory. And I gotta say, as much as I'm wearing the shades, and I am happy that the Commanders got that big victory, I'm feeling a little like Frank White in the movie King of New York.
Well, I must have been away too long because my feelings are dead.
See, it's one of those things where it was a big upset win. Let's keep it positive first, right? Big upset win against the Atlanta Falcons. I know in the preview episode I talked about how talented I thought the team was. They got some dudes, Drake London, Bijan Robinson. Everybody had themselves I'd say overall an okay game, except for the one dude, more than anything, who I think is the MVP of the game overall, which was Desmond Ridder, having an absolute piss-poor performance out there. But hey, the Commanders, in certain aspects, they stepped up, right? 24 points there on the road against Atlanta, who had a top 10 defense. I mean, there's some things you got to be able to hang your hat on. I thought Sam Howell had a pretty good game. I think with Sam, you could totally see it. He has that NFL arm, right? Fit that ball in the pocket, fit the ball in the tight spots not necessarily other quarterbacks can get. He had a few really, really good darts to Terry McLaurin, who they definitely got involved in this game. That has been something that we've been very critical of them, right? But 11 targets on the day. Pull up his actual stats here, but I know he had a pretty good game. I don't think he got 100 yards, but where was he at? Terry, 11 targets, 6 receptions, 81 yards. Getting better, I guess. It's not the Terry of old, but hey, they're getting him involved. 11 targets is more than I think he's gotten at all this year. Curtis Samuel also still getting involved in the passing game. Jahan Dotson, I guess I'll save that for when I'm going to be a little more critical of the team. And then the run game, 10 carries for Brian Robinson, 31 yards. Chris Rodriguez came in there in the second half at the very end, 4 carries, 23 yards. He looked pretty good. Offensive line overall and the Sam Howell experiment together, they still gave up 5 sacks, which I know going into this game, as far as the Atlanta Falcons, they had 5 sacks in the entire year. So there you go, Atlanta. You doubled your sack total. But I also know in sending absolute well wishes there to Charles Leno and Jen Leno, the Leno family. I know that they had some personal stuff happen. I'm sure anybody that's a fan are pretty much aware of what went on. And he didn't start. So we had... Damn, I remember who the fuck he started there for us. Was it City Charles? I don't know, whatever. But the offensive line overall, this is one of those things. At least they didn't give up 7 or 8 sacks today, right? Or yesterday. But overall, I would just say the offense, they got clicking for the most part, right? 24 points against the top 10 defense. You got to be happy with that. But overall, what you'd see is a lot of what it is the offense was able to do as far as the scoring was a lot set up by who was probably, if you're looking on paper, the stars of the game, which was the Washington defense. Picking off Desmond Ridder, 3 times in the game? 3 times in the second half, actually. 2 of those interceptions were in the red zone. But, you'd look and say, all right, you got to give the defense credit for getting those interceptions, right? You can't take anything away from them on that. But maybe I'll take a little bit away from them in the sense of Desmond Ridder played like goddamn ass. Dude was terrible. Arthur Smith, terrible game plan, too. The Atlanta Falcons did everything in their absolute power to cough this game up. I think in the second half, you see the Washington offense kind of slowed down to a trickle. really weren't moving the ball necessarily as well as they had been. I think that had a lot to do with Eric Bieniemy's kind of weird play calling over the course of the game. But the Atlanta definitely had their opportunities, and the Washington defense, to give them credit, they stepped up when they needed to. They didn't allow Desmond Ridder to have many opportunities. When he didn't connect, or when he erred, they took advantage of it. And you give him credit for that. You gotta give him some credit for that. But I mean, I just can't overstate how bad I thought Desmond Ridder was in that game. I mean, I always thought Ridder would have been benched by now, but hey, they're still chugging along there with him. I think this week might be the last week. Maybe Taylor Heineke gets to start next time for him. But I don't know, man. Did I pick Washington to win this game? No. I said that I didn't think, based on what I've seen from them previously in this season, that they'd show up for the Atlanta Falcons game. And they did, and they won. They were underdogs on the road against a team that I've been hyping up even in the last in the last pod, outside of Desmond Ridder. Very talented team. I mean, if there are certain things that you always had to look out for, was guys like Bijan Robinson was somebody that I was always really, really looking out for. 13 carries, 37 yards. Tyler Allgeier, 13 carries, 51 yards. Good job against the run, guys. So they stepped up in certain ways. These are certain things that I guess you can hang your hat on and hope that they continue down this track. I mean, we got the Giants, I think, next week. Does this continue? To me, this seemed like one of those games that Washington was supposed to win. If you were to ask me at the beginning of the season, is this a game that I think that we're going to win or lose? I'd say win, depending on who we are going to be as a team. But after the debacle against Buffalo, after you have the Philadelphia game that gives everybody this hope, I still look, if they went for 2 and they had won it, that's one thing. I still don't think even if they went for 2, they would have got it. So you had the tough loss against Philly, but a division opponent. And then the absolute rug pull that was the Chicago Bears game. What does this win mean? Does this mean that, like, they're doing the things that they're supposed to do? Does this a surprise because maybe we thought that they were worse than they would be going into the season? So it's like, okay, maybe you guys are a little bit better now. I don't know. I think Atlanta did everything they possibly could do to cough this game up to us. So that gets taken into account, at least just a little bit. Overall, from looking at the defense, to see certain guys that's definitely stepped up in certain ways. I thought Fuller had absolutely his best game in the MVP picks. Not a lot of Emmanuel Forbes out there. I barely saw him on 1 or 2 snaps, I think. Definitely didn't start this game. I still like to see what it is he can do. I mean, maybe you do need to bench him for right now. Maybe just looking from the sideline can learn something. But I don't know, man. I just don't feel all that rah and happy about it. This feels like one of those, you're doing what you're supposed to do, or at least what I thought you were supposed to do. Then you set the bar so low that I don't know if I'm supposed to be happy that you set the bar low and now you've exceeded the bar with this victory. Or are we just back to, I don't know. And I think that's the thing with this game is they won the game. It's a good thing, more than a bad thing. I mean, I think we're too good to be in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes anyway. So I don't think you're trying to lose out. You want to see what these guys can do, and you want to evaluate everybody going into next year. Sam Howell, I'm becoming more convinced week by week that the dude can play in the NFL. Like, I don't think that there's a whole lot of doubt there. I know that there's been back and forth about how many of the sacks can be attributed to him compared to the offensive line. I just know that just stuff needs to get better. I still have a ton of criticism there for Eric Bieniemy in the sense of I still think, for the most part, he's just installed the Kansas City offense here without taking into account the personnel. And that's going to be something that I think needs to get fixed. They need to really tailor the offense to the players we have. I give them credit for what it is they did with getting Terry more involved. That's a good thing. Jahan Dotson, I don't know what's happening with him. I feel like the only things I can really remember outside of 1 touchdown, I believe, this year was most of the drops, the easy drops. I say easy coming from my standpoint, but easy for him. Should be easy for him. It just doesn't feel like this team overall to me is completely plugged in or necessarily maybe even they believe in themselves. Maybe I feel guilty as a fan that I should believe in them too. They like believe in them and maybe they can believe in themselves, but I just need to see more, man. But a win is a win. An upset road win is a bigger win. But I really need to see what it is they do against New York next week and going forward. I'm not necessarily sold completely on anything on this team. I do know that we have a talented defense. I do know that people are up in arms about what they thought were a lot of holding calls against Chase Young. I'm sorry, Chase, but I remember the days of Brian Orakpo and Ryan Kerrigan when they constantly were throwing their hands up, going around the side. They're not going to call it. Figure out something else to do, man. Give them another move. I don't know. I just feel bland. Does anyone else just feel bland? Or am I just being too negative? I mean, I know that I'm supposed to be fairly even keel. I think the Chicago Bears game kind of rattled me at least a little bit. And right now I'm just trying to figure out who it is that I want to be as far as a fan of this team or how much I need to get my heart involved in this. I don't think I'm alone in that, but who knows? All right. At this point, I think I'm just rambling. So what I'm going to do, good job, Washington. You did what you were supposed to do. Hopefully it continues. All right. Go to the comment mailbag. I know there were at least a few comments left from my solo vid a few days ago. So let's pull these bad boys out. Oh, look, I got over 100 views on that one. Not necessarily Amit numbers, but we're getting there. All right. Vindel. Or you know what? Let me go in reverse order. Vindel, I'm going to get back to you. Phil Jackson, 2083. Wild as shit talking on your man like that. I'm assuming you're talking about me letting a few things go as far as A-Train. Look, I haven't said exactly what it is he did. I just did my part as a citizen, putting the wanted poster at the end. You know, I do love my man Amit and A-Train. Well, I don't love A-Train. I love Amit. But, you know, sometimes you need to have that tough love, maybe law enforcement love to rectify some things. And I wish I saw more of Amit and less of A-Train. Just saying. Dante KS41S, I think that's one, or LS, I don't know. Held it down pretty well, in my opinion. Lord knows I can't talk on Taco for an hour straight, let alone 40 minutes. That's why this episode is nowhere near 40 minutes. I don't have it, but if you made it this far, you got through my ramblings as far as what the game was, just a bit of a mess. But I appreciate it, man. Hopefully I held it down just a little bit on this one, but I would say the bar was set higher in the last episode than this one, man. Oh, and then we got a comment, actually, from our man Amit. Clap, clap. For legal purposes and his own safety, A-Train cannot say where he is at this time. Just know he's having a good time. His prediction was 23-20 Commanders. It's Desmond Ridder. Come on. We can't lose that guy. However, if he gets knocked out and Heineke comes in, all bets are off. Great job, KDot. Well, I appreciate it, Amit. I know A-Train can't say where he is, but I'm sure he is having a good time. A-Train only knows how to have a good time at the cost of everybody else's good time. But 23-20 Commanders, I mean, you got it pretty much there. I mean, they did get under as far as that 42.5, but 23-20, and you did call it Desmond Ridder. He is the reason, for the most part, that the Atlanta Falcons lost and we won. So, Amit, good job. You see, even his predictions are better. We need you back, buddy. Kick A-Train to the side. Get back here. To the people that love you. We do love you, man. And Vindel. Back to Vindel. Great win. Looking forward to at Giants. Would like to see more consistency with the offense. Can't understand why we can't run the ball in the fourth quarter. Gave the Falcons more opportunities to tie the game. Doesn't really add up to me. Doesn't really add up to me either. So I'm saying overall, it just felt as though we got the win. And I guess wins, like you need to be able to win by any means necessary, right? But I know some wins are cleaner than others. And some wins you can hang your hat on and say, okay, you guys did this great, this great, this great. Keep that up and we're good. I would say if this team plays exactly as the way they played here today, or yesterday, sorry, then does that guarantee victories? I'd say I don't know. I don't think so. Because I don't think they're going to have a guy too often this year that plays as poorly as Desmond Ridder did. Maybe next week if Daniel Jones comes back. But Tyrod Taylor looked okay last night. In the second half, won the first half, I guess. But Don't know. We still got some tough opponents coming up, and I just don't think they're going to fumble the bag as bad as Desmond Ridder did. So I don't know. I guess that's the thing. If you play the way you played today, can you win tomorrow? I felt profound. I don't know. All right, coming up on around 15 minutes or so. I don't know if this time is even right. So I'm gonna wrap it up. But yeah, drop in the comments. Am I alone in thinking that this was just a win, but not really feeling much? I don't know. Pick up my spirits. Somebody help me. This has been Dish Divided, a DC sports podcast, more specifically a Commanders podcast. I am KDot, waiting for my man Amit to get back here. Fuck you, A-Train. Thanks for tuning in. Like, comment, share this shit. Love you guys. Bye.
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.